Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's start then. Now, last week, if you remember, we talked about the topic of mubtada and khabar. And we said about mubtada and khabar that this was a type of word or a situation where a word occurs in a sentence that it's a Jumla ismiya, and the first word of that Jumla ismiya you call it a mubtada and the second khabar. Right, so let me just explain to you what a Jumla is. So in Arabic, the word Jumla means sentence. Yeah, sentence. So if a sentence is a mubtada khabar based sentence, you call this sentence a Jumla ismiya. Ism means noun, so it's a noun based sentence. Yeah, so a sentence that contains mubtada and khabar, you call it a Jumla ismiya. And on the other hand, you have another sentence which is known as a Jumla فعلية. Jumla fi'liya. So Jumla fi'liya itself, that's a sentence which is based on a fi'l and a fa'il. So if you remember, we talked about fi'l and fa'ils. So that's a sentence that's based on a fi'l and a fa'il. Right? So for instance, if I said something like qama Zaid. So qama Zaid, this is the fi'l. So we call the fi'l, and Zaid is the fa'il. So we're going to call this sentence now a Jumla fi'liya, JF. Okay, Jumla fi'liya. So I'm going to say, right guys, this is a Jumla fi'liya, and you can add a K on the end, khabariya. Right, and you'll learn more about that a bit later. And a Jumla ismiya, for example, like Zaydun, Salihun. So Zaydun, Salihun. This is known as a Jumla ismiya. So Mim for Mubtada and Kha for Khabar. Put them together, it becomes Jumla ismiya, J-I. Yeah, J-I. And then put K at the end, Khabariya. Okay, so Mubtada and the Khabar. So we've got here the Mubtada and the Khabar now. Now, let's go back to this then. So now we're talking about, this whole lesson is going to be talking about the different words that affect a Mubtada and Khabar. Okay, that's what basically the lesson is going to all be about. So I'm going to tell you about how Imam Ajurrumiyya, he talks about this. So now, the way he discusses it is this. He says that a mubtada and a khabar. So normally, remember we said mubtada is in the marfoo state, and the khabar is in the marfoo state as well. It was one of the 7 marfu'at that he... You guys remember, yeah? You guys are not like dozing off, are you? You guys are remembering this stuff. So, in other words, the mubtada and the khabar by default is in the marfu state, rafa state. However, this mubtada and khabar can actually other states as well. Right? So, how is that possible? So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw here diagram. Okay, so we're going to look at now 3 different types of words that will affect the mubtada and the khabar. Okay, 3 different types. So first of all, let me explain the name, and then after that, inshallah, we'll. So a word which has kana, a mubtada and a khabar that have kana at the beginning. You know kana, what you eat at night time? Kana. Yeah. Only joke. Yeah, so kana, it means was. Okay, so kana is was. So what kana basically does is this. Let's say, for example, you had a sentence, Zaid. If I say Zaid, Salih. or rather Zayd Jalis. Jalis is better. Yeah, so Zayd being Salih, pious all the time. You know, we don't want to give him nazar. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Might get messed up. So Zayd Jalis. So normally, remember what I told you, Zayd Jalis, Zayd is the marfoo and Jalis is the marfoo. The technical terms for this, if I was to ask you, I said to you, what's grammatically, what position is Zayd in? You say to me, Zayd is a mubtada. I say to you, what position is Jalis in? You say to me, Jalis is the khabar. Okay, so mubtada and the khabar. And as we already know, mubtada is in the rafa state. And the rafa state, if you remember, which words or symbols represent the rafa state? Yeah, you say to me 4. I say to you, what are they? You say to me, dawan, dad, waw, alif, and nun. Yeah, these are the 4. So you should remember that. What have I done? Mim. No, mim, kha, mim khabar. Now, what kana basically does, if we introduce kana to this sentence now. So let's say we said, kana Zayd Jalis. Now, what happens over here is that the khabar, okay, is going to become affected. Yeah, the khabar is going to become affected. So now what we're going to say, we're not going to say Zaydun Jalisun anymore. Now what we're going to say is we're going to say Zaydun Jalisan. This takes the nasab state. So now the khabar of kana, the khabar now, if it has a kana at the beginning, the khabar will now be mansoob. It will no longer be marfoo. It's changed it. Okay, so the kana, that's what happens to it. And you know this, let me look for a nice color. You know this mubtada, you no longer call this a mubtada anymore. Yeah, don't ask me why, guys. Why don't you call it mubtada anymore? I want to call it a mubtada, seriously. Yeah, but unfortunately that's how it is in the book, so we've got to stick to whatever they say. So the mubtada now is known as the ism of kana. Okay, this is called the ism of kana, and that's called the khabar of kana. Okay, and the vowels stay the same. The vowels stay the same. You're not going to touch the vowels, but you just change names now. So instead of mubtada and khabar, kana's attached to it. Now it becomes that Zayd is the ism of kana, and Zayd and Jalis is the khabar of kana. So the ism of kana is marfoo. Okay, the ism of kana is marfoo. Okay, so technically mubtada and the ism of kana are the same thing really, but because kana has been attached to it, we're going to give it a new name now. So we're going to call it the advanced version of a mubtada, an updated mubtada, just like people update their apps on their phones. So the mubtada of a kana is now updated, and you call it an ism of kana. Okay, so it's ism marfu, and that's ism mansub. Okay, everyone understand that? Yeah, that's how kana works. Okay, next, let's move on to the next one. The details, I'm going to go into the details a bit later on. The next one is inna. Inna means indeed. Okay, by the way, kana Zaydun Jalisan now means Zayd was sitting. Zayd was sitting. Okay, now we're going to look at inna now. So again, the same thing we're going to do with this sentence. We're going to bring Zaydun and Jalisun. Okay, so normally, what position is Zayd in? Grammatically, what do we call this? We call this a mubtada, Jalis. We call this the khabar. So Zaydun and Jalisun. Yeah. Now what happens here is, when you add an inna at the beginning of this, yeah, inna, again, inna is like an updater, an updating app. It's going to start changing around with the settings now. So now what happens is this, is that you see this mubtada. This mubtada, first of all, it's no longer called a mubtada. We're going to call it the ism of inna. And secondly, it's no longer marfoo. Now it's going to be mansoob. Okay, now it's going to be mansoob. So we're going to change this. Zaydan. Inna Zaydan. Remember the mansoobat that we talked about? So if you go back to the video on the mansoobat, you can check it out over there, inshallah. So inna zaydan. As for the khabar, it stays the same. Yeah, it's still called khabar, but now you just call it the khabar of inna. That's what you're going to call it now. So now we're getting used to the terminology that they use. So the khabar of inna. And this is still marfoo, but now it's going to be called the khabar of inna. That's all. So jalisun stays the same. So it's like done the opposite of what kana does. Kana affects the ism, the khabar, and doesn't really affect the ism. Inna affects the ism, doesn't affect. So the inna and kana are like two enemies. Yeah, the enemies there. The two cousins basically. Yeah, that makes sense. The two cousins don't get on with each other. Okay, so that's inna. So inna zaydan qa'imun. Now inna zaydan qa'imun means indeed Zayd is sitting. Indeed Zayd is sitting. Okay, so that's what inna does. Right, that's the second of the three, and now let's do the third one now. Is everyone understanding that? Making sense? Are you grasping the idea? Yeah, if you're not understanding it, just put it in the comments, inshallah, and inshallah we'll see what we can do. So number 3 is ظننت. ظننت. Now ظننت, let me just show you a little bit about ظننت. This word ظننت, this is actually a verb. Okay, so if you remember, we talked about fi'ls, and I hope you guys remember what kind of a fa'il do we have on this fi'l. The fa'il that we have on ظننت is hidden inside of it. Yeah, it's ظننت, it's baris, it's tu, I. So this word ظننت is actually made up of the fi'l, the verb ظن, plus tu. Yeah, ظننت. So dhanna means to assume. So ظننت means I assumed, I thought. Okay, ظننت. So again, ظننت is from a family of verbs which are found before a mubtada and a khabar. So let's say, for instance, I said Zayd jalis. So Zayd jalis. Okay, remember what I said to you before. Normally Zaydun jalis, Zayd is the mubtada, jalis is the khabar. Okay, now if you were to attach ظننت to the beginning, I assumed. Now what happens is something totally different from before. Yeah, so something totally different from before. So what happens now is that the mubtada is no longer called a mubtada anymore. Right, let's cross that out. The khabar is no longer called a khabar anymore. Cross that out. So total change now, full change. And the vowels are different. So what do their names become? So the mubtada actually becomes something known as the mafool bihi. And the jalis becomes mafool bihi. Okay, you call this the mafool bihi, the first mafool bihi, and you call this the second mafool bihi. So mafool bihi, what does that mean? Now, mafools are going to come later on. I'm just going to give you a little overview of what they mean. Look, you know, in a sentence, if I was to say to you that Zayd opened the door. Yeah, Zayd opened the door. Now, if you remember what I told you before, opened is a verb, is the action. Yeah, the verb, the action, whatever you want to call it. In Arabic, what do we call a verb? We call it a fi'l. Yeah, I heard you guys see that. Zayd, you call this the fa'il, the subject, the one that is doing the action. And the thing that the action is being done upon, like if I say to you, what is Zayd opening? So you say to me, door. So this word door, this is what we call the object, the thing on the receiving end of the verb. Yeah, what's opening being done to? So if you can tell me what opening is being done to, that thing is called the object, or mafool bihi. This is known as the mafool bihi, the object. So any sentence you have, you can make one up yourself now. And any sentence that you have, the action which is being done to something, that thing is known as the object, or technically mafool bihi. Okay, mafool bihi. Like if I say, I read the Quran, what's the mafool bihi here? What thing am I reading? You say Quran, that's the mafool bihi. If I say, I worship Allah, what is being worshipped here, or who is being worshipped? You say to me, Allah. So Allah is the maf'ul bihi. If I say to you, I ate the apple, what's being eaten here? What am I eating? So you say the apple. So the apple is called the maf'ul bihi. And maf'ul bihi, this is in the state of nasab. Right? Remember that. Mansub state. So if you go back to those, what we said about mansubat before, this is in the mansub state. So it takes fatha, or it takes an alif, or it takes ya, or it takes kasra in the case of Jam' and Salim, or anything of that sort. Yeah, so mansub and mansub maf'uls are going to come later on in the book when we discuss maf'ul bihi. So maf'ul basically means something a fi'l has been done to. Yeah. If you slap your friend in their face, they're the maf'uls. Yeah, you got that? That's supposed to be a joke there, guys, yeah. You can laugh whenever you like. Don't worry about it. Inshallah. Yeah, laugh whenever you like, bro. So fools, they're maf'uls. Yeah, so the one that you slap is the maf'ul, meaning the fi'l has been done to them. The action has been done to them. Right. So let's go back down then to this. So because these two are maf'uls, what state is the maf'ul in? You say to me, it's in the mansub state, nasab state. So both of these are now going to be in the nasab state. So how are we going to change their vowels? Right, so their vowels are going to be changed to Zaydan, ظننت Zaydan, jalisan. Two maf'uls. Yeah. So ظننت Zaydan jalisan. That's what ظننت does to a mubtada and to a khabar. It totally transforms it now. It's like, have you seen on Facebook those kind of women, yeah, who like look like a proper witch, and then all of a sudden they do all this makeup and they look like some hureen. Yeah, well that's what ظننت does basically. Yeah, it's converted Zayd Jalis from something totally different, and it's made it into hureen. Yeah, so ظننت Zaydan jalisan. Now what does ظننت Zaydan jalisan mean? It means I assumed, I thought Zayd is sitting. I thought Zayd is sitting. So the book has introduced us to these three concepts now. Yeah, kana, which is applied to a mubtada and a khabar. Inna, which is applied to a mubtada and a khabar. And ظننت, which is applied to a mubtada and a khabar. Okay, everyone happy with all of that? Understand that up to there? Good. Right. Now, you see the author, he just mentions these three types. Now, I'm going to give you the names of these three. He doesn't really talk about other types that other grammarians talk about. And shall I go into them? No, I'm not going to go into them, because then it's going to make the book very, very long. And we don't want the book to become very long. So, inshallah, we're going to do it like that. So kana, this is known as fi'l naqis. Yeah, this is a family. The family of what we call the fi'l naqis family. Like you have the Adams family. Yeah, one is like drinks blood, and the other one, yeah, hits his head with a hammer, and the other one drinks poison, and the other one, yeah, all that, you know, the Adams family. So you have the kana family. This family is known as the fi'l naqis. Fi'l naqis means incomplete verb. Why is it called an incomplete verb? Because if you look at the sentence, it hasn't fully worked on this sentence. Yeah, kana Zaydun jalisan. It hasn't like fully kind of worked on it. It's partially worked on it. So they call it a partial verb. It's like a half verb basically. Okay, this inna, this is known as, this is from the family known as huruf mushabbaha bil fi'l. Huruf mushabbaha bil fi'l. Particles that resemble fi'l. They resemble, they're not even halfway there yet. Like fi'l naqis is better than a one of these, because at least a fi'l naqis is half a fi'l. But this guy is not even a fi'l, he just wants to resemble a fi'l. Yeah, so he just wants to resemble. So he tries to dress up like one. So inna tries to dress up like a fi'l. So this has a family as well. And ظننت. So ظننت has a family, and their family is known as, yeah, it's called the fi'l al-qalb. Fi'l al-qalb. Yeah, this is the family is known as the verbs of the heart. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, Rumi. Now you're gonna probably see someone quoting Rumi somewhere. ظننت زيدا جالسا, and put at the bottom of it Rumi. Yeah. Now, fi'l al-qalb simply means those actions which are to do with your mind. In Arabic, heart refers to mind as well. So those actions which are to do with the mind, like thinking, thought, assumed, believed, those are known as fi'l qalbs. Yeah, any sort of action which is associated with the mind, with the heart. So fi'l al-qalb. So these fi'l al-qalbs, they do this as well. Yeah, they have this effect. Okay, so everyone understand the names? The names are? Yes? Everyone got that? Okay, now let's go into a little bit more detail about each one of these now. So what I need to do, I need to make this page a little bigger. So remember, a lot of Nahu is, if you study Nahu, it's a lot of it is like theory, yeah, theoretically kind of discussing things and analyzing them. Yeah, sometimes it can become a bit tiring and boring. Yeah, and you know, unfortunately that does happen. However, inshallah, we're going to try and make it interesting. So let me just do this, and then we'll try and apply it to Quran as well. So okay, fi'l naqis. Now let's look at fi'l naqis. Fi'l naqis, there are 13 of fi'l naqis that he mentions, including kana. Yeah, so including kana, there's how many? How many members of their family? 13 members. 13 members of the kana family. Yeah, kana. 13 members of the kana family. There's that one crazy one, one clever one, one good looking one, one ugly one, all those. The kana family. Alright, now what are these? What are they? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it up into 3 categories. Yeah, so I want you to, you can write this down as well if you like, just to make it quicker to understand. So what you do is make columns. Okay, make okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, make 4 columns. Okay, for this. Alright, so the way it's going to work is like this. So we're going to put past in here. Past, present, future. So present, future is the same. Present and future. We're going to put command, yeah, and prohibition. And we're going to put ism file, something known as an ism file. Okay, so there's these 4 categories. Everyone done that? Okay, now let's go down. So these 13 that I've told you about the family of kana, they can be divided into 3 categories. Yeah, so I'm going to divide them. So the first category is a fi'l which can be found or can be made in the past tense, present, future, command, prohibition, and ism file. So for example, like let's start. Kana. So this word kana is past, means was. For present and future, you say yakunu. For prohibition and command, And command, you say kun, like kun fayakun, kun. And ism fa'il, you say ka'in. Okay, so in other words, kana can take all four forms. Yeah, all 4 forms you can take. Likewise, another word in its family is asbaha. Asbaha, yusbihu. The amr is asbih. And the ism fa'il is musbih. Okay, and adha, yudhi, adhi, and mudhi. I'm going to have to rush this a bit. Dhalla, yadhillu. Dhalla is the command. And dhal. Okay, it's the ism fa'il. And then you have bata. There's 2 more left. Bata, yabitu, bit. Yeah, like Bitcoin. You know those bitcoins. Bit. Yeah. And ba'it. Okay, and last one, Sara. Sara, yasiru, sir, and sa'ir. Okay, these are 5, these are. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, 6, including kana. 5 plus that, 6 altogether. Okay, so that's that. Let's draw a line there. So these all 6 can come in all 4 columns. Right. The next is those that can only appear. Those that only appear in the 3 of them. Okay, so for example, like you have ma zala, ma or la. I'll write them down then. Ma infakka. Yeah, sounds a bit dodgy there. Can't repeat it again. Ma bariha. Ma fati'a. Okay, so these are 4. These 4 that you have, they appear in the past form. They appear in the present form. La yazalu, la yanfakku, la yabrahu, and la yafta'u. They don't really appear in the command form. And ism fa'il form, so la za'il, la munfak, la barih, and la fati'. Okay, I'll give you the meanings in a little while, inshallah. Okay, so let's move that up a bit, see if we can make some space there, inshallah. Okay, so how many have we done so far now? So now we've got 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Okay, next you've got last 2 now. So these last 2 that we have, you can see the screen, can't you? Okay. So the last 2 that you have, they only appear in the past form. So 11. Have I missed one out? أصبح أضحى ظل بات صار ما زال من فك ما برح ما فتئ. Okay, I only mentioned 12, haven't I? So I think there's one that I'm missing, and I'll come back to that. See what that is. Okay, so 11 and 12. So 11 and 12 are ma dama and laysa. Nothing for that, nothing there, nothing there. So ma dama and laysa, these only appear in the past form. They don't appear in any other form. Okay, so let's look at the book then, and let's see which ones I've missed out from what he's saying. Or is it actually, maybe it might be 12, I might have made a mistake. Yeah. So let's see. باب الأوامر الداخلة على المبتدأ والخبر. The chapter of the governing words الداخلة which are added على المبتدأ to a mubtada and a khabar. داخلة here means to enter upon, but I'm translating as added. So this is the chapter of those words that are added, like we said, كان, إن, and ظننت, upon a mubtada and a khabar. وهي ثلاثة أشياء, and these are three things. كان وأخواتها, كان and its sisters. إن وأخواتها, إن and its sisters. And ظننت وأخواتها, ظننت and its sisters. Family members basically. فأما كان, as for كان وأخواتها and her sisters, فإنها ترفع الاسم. It gives rafa to the ism. In other words, it makes the ism marfoo. وتنصب الخبر, and it makes the khabar mansoob. وهي كان, and they are كان. Done that, okay. أمسى, oh I missed out أمسى. Yeah, so you can add that in. So in this list, right? Look at that. That's me, that is. So I missed out أمسى. So there you can put أمسى. Yeah, and yumsi, and amsi, and mumsi. Yeah, so I missed that one out. So that is basically the 13th, number 13. Yeah, so okay, so he says kana, amsa, asbaha, adha, dhalla, bata, sara, laysa, ma zala, man fakka, ma fati'a, ma bariha, ma dama. Yeah, all these. وما تصرف منها, and those which are تصرف here means those which can take various forms are كان, like كان يكون وكن, وأصبح يصبح, and أصبح and يصبح وأصبح, and others as well. I've added this ism fa'il section. He hasn't mentioned it, but other books mention it, and I thought I'd just add that in because it comes in the Quran sometimes as well. Okay, so أصبح تقول, you say كان زيد قائما, Zaid was standing. ليس عمرو شاخصا, Amr is not looking. شاخص means to focus and look at something. وما أشبه ذلك, and other words similar to that. So I listed them for you. So what do these words mean then? كان means was. Yeah, so if I say كان زيد جالسا, it means Zaid was sitting. أصبح means became. أصبح, Zaid became sitting. It literally means the morning comes. So let's say you wake up and you see Zaid sitting. You say Asbaha Zaidun Jalisan. Zaid woke up in the morning or got up sitting. And Amsa, it means the evening. So Zaid in the evening was sitting. Adha, Zaid in the morning time, between Fajr and between Dhuhr. That time is called Adha Duha. In Urdu you call it Chast time. Adha Zaidun Jalisan. Zaid spent the morning sitting. Dhalla, it means afternoon. So Dhalla, Zaid in the afternoon remained sitting. Bata, it means spent the night. Bata, Zaid spent the night sitting. Sara Zaidun Jalisan, Zaid became sitting, like he was in a different posture and he turned and he became sitting. Yeah, so those are the ones, you can write them down. Mazala, it means to continue. Mazala Zaidun Jalisan, Zaid remained sitting. Man fakka, Zaid continued, all mean the same thing, sitting. Ma bariha, Zaid continued sitting. Ma fati'a, Zaid continued sitting. So all these four mean the same thing. Ma dama, it means so long as. Ma dama Zaidun jalisan, so long as Zaid was sitting. Laysa Zaidun jalisan, Zaid is not sitting. So everyone understand what those mean, yeah? Make sense? Okay, so that's basically what kana is about. So you got kana there. Now the others, I just want to do these as well. So you got inna now. So let's move on to inna. Okay, so inna, there's nothing really, I don't have to make any list for that. We can just go through the book. So amma inna, as for inna, wa akhawatuha, and its sisters, fa innaha tansib, it gives nasab, mansub, to the, let me just bring this a bit down so you can see. So it gives nasab to the ism, like it's done over here, inna zaydan, notice. Wa tarfa al-khabar, and it gives rafa to the khabar. Wa hiya inna, the 6 sisters there. Inna, anna, lakinna, ka'anna, layta, and la'alla. Inna means indeed. Anna is similar to indeed. Lakinna means however. Ka'anna means as though. Like, you say as though. Your face is as though it's the moon. Yeah, only joke, guys. I'm not saying it to you. Yeah. Oh, ka'anna, it means as though. Layta, if only. So layta zaydan jalisun. If only Zayd was sitting. Layta. La'alla, la'alla zaydan jalisun. Maybe Zayd is sitting. Yeah, so inna zaydan jalisun means indeed Zayd is sitting. Anna zaydan jalisun means that Zayd is sitting. Lakinna, however Zayd is sitting. Ka'anna, as though Zayd is sitting. Like he's not sitting, but it's as though he is sitting. Later, if only Zayd is sitting. La'alla, maybe Zayd is sitting. تقول إن زيدا قائم, indeed Zayd is standing. Later, عمرا شاخص, if only Amr was focusing, looking. وما أشبه ذلك, and things which are similar to that. ومعنى إن وأن للتوكيد. إن and أن come for emphasis. ولكن للاستدراك, and لكن comes to correct something. Yeah, to change something. Istidrak means to correct or to change something, to make up. So like I said, lakinna, however Zayd is sitting, as though I said something before that, but now I want to like exclude Zayd from this, so I want to change my sentence. Ka'anna litashbih. Ka'anna comes for analogy, yeah, drawing similarity. Later litamanni. Later comes for wishing, hoping for something, wishing for something. La'alla comes for hoping. So sorry. Later comes for wishing for something, like if you say, I wish I was, Hafidh of Quran. So later, you use later there. That, you wish and you can't become it. La'alla is, however, used for something you can hope for. Like if you say, La'alla, I was a Hafidh of Quran, then it means, I hope I can become a Hafidh of Quran. Littaraji for hope, wattawaqqu, and expecting something. Okay. Amma ظننت. As for ظننت is another category. So ظننت, I have to just write these, or I don't have to write them down because they're there anyway. So ظننت, so these are the sisters of ظننت. He writes 10 of them. Okay, there's 10 of them. So actually no, I'll write them down because okay, so number 1, ظننت. Yeah, ظننت زيدا جالسا. Yeah, I thought Zayd was sitting. That's number 1. Number 2 is حسبت. Is حسبت. حسبت, I thought, I assumed Zayd was sitting. Number 3, خلت. خلت as well, it means I thought. Number 4, زعمت, I claimed. I claimed Zayd was sitting. Number 5, رأيت. Yeah. رأيت, I saw Zayd sitting. But this saw does not mean like saw with the eyes. It means saw as in thought, the mind. I assumed, like that we say. I believed. Okay, so this isn't that رأيت as in I saw with my eyes. It's the saw with your mind. علمت, if that makes sense. علمت, I understood Zayd was sitting. Number 7, وجدت. Yeah, so وجدت, I found Zayd sitting. Number 8, اتخذت. So اتخذت, I took Zayd sitting. I took. Like you say I took an idea. Yeah, I took a concept. جعلت Zayd jalisan. I made Zayd sit. And number 10, I heard. سمعت. So notice all of these are with the meaning of the mind, the heart. That's why they're called qalb. So تقول, you say, ظننت زيدا قائما. I thought Zayd was standing. ورأيت عمرا شاخصا. and I believed Amr was looking. وَمَا أَشْبَهَ ذَلِكَ, and anything which is similar to that. So that's basically what this lesson is about. Okay, now, just want to mention one final thing and then we look at the Quran, which is the other books, right? They call these words, these three words that we've done today, these governing words, they call them the nawasikh. Now, I'm not going to go into them. I'm just going to show you what they are. They are divided into two types. You have what is called the nawasikh ismiya. The nawasikh fi'liya. And you have the nawasikh harfiya, meaning nawasikh which are made up of harfs, and you have nawasikh which are made up of particles. Yeah, so what are they? So first of all, the fi'liya are three. Yeah. Fi'l naqis, kana and its sisters. Fi'l qalb, the heart. And there's a third one which we haven't done, okay, known as qurb. Qurb, closeness. That one we haven't done. That's not in this book. Okay, and the harfs are of three types as well. So altogether there's 6 basically. So huruf mushabbaha. Okay, we haven't done this one. Rather, I'll do the ones that we have done. Mushabbaha bil fi'l, huruf mushabbaha bil fi'l. Particles that resemble fi'l. We've done that, and the other two we haven't done. So huruf mushabbaha bil laysa. So laysa is part of the naqis, but these are letters which resemble laysa. And la nafi al jins. Yeah, this also applies. So these three, the ones in blue we haven't done, the red ones come in this book. And that's it basically. That's how this works. Inna Allah. The word Allah here is the ism of inna. That's why it's got nasab mansub. Yeah, and yuhibbul muhsinin, all of that is the khabar. So if you remember, like we said last week, khabar can come in the form of a jumla fi'liya. So yuhibbu is the fi'l, and it's in it is the fa'il, and muhsinin is the mafool bihi. All of that put together is considered to be the khabar, the khabar of inna. Okay. So that's one example. Another example is لا تزال تطلع على خائنة منهم إلا قليل. So this لا تزال, this is from the afal naqisa. Okay, and the ism is hidden inside of it, because remember it's a fi'l. You can have the ism inside of it. And تطلع على خائنة منهم, all of that is in the ruling of the khabar. Okay, another one. كانوا يصنعون. So كانوا is fi'l naqis. The ism is considered inside of it. The ism can be inside of a fi'l naqis, just like the fa'il can be inside of a fi'l. And yasna'un is the khabar. Okay, that's in the form of the khabar. Okay. Kuntum tukhfuna. So kuntum is the fi'l naqis, and the ism is inside of it, which is antum. And tukhfuna min al-kitab, jumla fi'liya is the khabar. Now notice, a lot of jumla fi'liyas come in the Quran. Yeah. Jumla fi'liya. The khabar is in the form of jumla fi'liya. So don't worry about that. That's something very, very common that happens. Okay. Let's see if there's any other. Okay, so here's one as well. Inna dakhilun. That's made up of inna plus na, which is we. Indeed, we are dakhilun. Dakhilun is the khabar. It's in the rafa state. Una. Dakhiluna. Okay, so indeed we are enterers. Indeed we are entering. So in kuntum mu'minin. Mu'minin is the khabar of kuntum. And so forth. Yeah, so, very, very important for you guys to practice as much as you can. Practice. And, seriously, practice is going to make your nahu perfect, inshallah. If you don't practice, right, imagine yourself like someone who knows how to swim, but has never been in the water. Right? You're not going to be able to do much. When you open the Quran or other texts, you won't be able to understand what it's saying or implement the rules like that. Okay, so today we covered let's have a look. That's what we covered today. Yeah, so we covered get rid of this. Jumla, we talked about the Jumla, sentence, فعلية, اسمية, and we could JFK, JIK. Mubtada and khabar, both are marfoo. However, if another word is added to the beginning of them, these can affect the state of the mubtada and the khabar and even change its name. So he mentions three: kana, inna, and ظننت. Okay, so kana gives the first one marfoo, rafa, and the second word nasab. Inna, first word mansub, and the second word the khabar rafa. ظننت gives both words mansub, and you call them mafool bihis, two mafool bihis. These are the kanas, or these are the family of kana, and the red one I missed it out and I added it in later. Okay, and then you have all of these which are the family of ظننت, and then inna, there was 6 of them, and they're written in the book. So inna, anna, ka'anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla. And that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. Alhamdulillah. If you have any comments or anything, any way I can improve this, just comment or just inbox me, and inshallah I'll be happy to listen to your comments, and inshallah I can improve the future lessons. So jazakumullah khair, guys. Hopefully see you guys next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.